Listen to the mechanical scream on the left. That is a flat 6 engine spinning at 9,000 RPM. Now listen to the sound on the right. That is a naturally aspirated V10 engine roaring at 8,500 RPM. You're hearing the Porsche 911 GT3 and the Lamborghini Huracan EVO. They are two of the most sought-after supercars on the market, each demanding a price tag well over $200,000. The automotive industry is rapidly replacing large engines with electric motors and turbochargers. These two cars stand apart. They rely entirely on naturally aspirated power, making them incredibly rare engineering achievements today. The comparing them reveals a massive contradiction. The car with significantly more horsepower is actually slower around a racetrack, and the car that costs less to buy on day one ends up costing drastically more to own over 5 years. Choosing between them requires deciding what you actually want from a supercar, a precision instrument engineered for absolute driving mastery, or a theatrical machine built for pure sensory spectacle. To understand why they perform so differently, you have to look at how they were conceived. Porsche has spent 60 years refining a single shape. Every generation of the 911 is a calculated evolution of the one before it. When you look at the modern GT3, the massive fixed rear wing, the front splitter, and the wide side intakes are not there for visual flair. They generate the exact aerodynamic downforce required by the laws of physics to achieve the car's lap times. Lamborghini operates under a completely different mandate. From the era of the Countach onward, their objective has been to build cars that evoke overwhelming emotion and shatter visual conventions. The Huracán EVO honors that legacy with a stance that is wide, aggressively low, and entirely uncompromising. The styling team was told to design something that looks like nothing else on the road, and they succeeded. The 911 achieves its beauty through absolute functional efficiency. The Huracan guarantees that every person on the pavement stops and stares when you drive past. Beneath the bodywork, the mechanical differences become stark. The Porsche GT3 uses a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6 engine, producing 502 horsepower. What it lacks in raw power, it makes up for with a 9,000 RPM redline. Pushing this engine to its absolute limit produces a flat, urgent, and precise mechanical acoustic character. Porsche pairs this engine with an optional 6-speed manual gearbox, requiring deep physical driver involvement to extract the car's potential. The Lamborghini Huracán EVO uses a 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10. It delivers 631 horsepower, giving it a 129 horsepower advantage over the Porsche. Taking this V10 to 8,500 RPM creates a multi-layered, overwhelming auditory violence that genuinely commands the attention of anyone within earshot. To manage that power, Lamborghini relies exclusively on a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. There is no manual option available. This split-screen comparison table tracks the raw specifications head-to-head. The Lamborghini's power advantage on paper is clear, but those numbers mask a deep contrast in how the driver interacts with the machine. The automatic Lamborghini performs a dramatic spectacle for you. The manual Porsche demands that you perform alongside it. In a straight line, the Lamborghini's extra horsepower dictates the outcome. It hits 60 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds and reaches a top speed of 202 miles per hour. By every highway metric, it wins. But straight lines do not measure chassis capability. To find that, you take both cars to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, 13 miles of twisting, technical, unforgiving tarmac. Look at these digital stopwatches locking in the final times. The Porsche GT3 completes the circuit in 6 minutes and 59.9 seconds. The Huracan EVO trails behind at approximately 7 minutes and 3 seconds. The GT3 overcomes its massive horsepower deficit through rigid weight reduction, superior aerodynamic downforce, and decades of hyper-specific rear engine tuning. Sitting behind the rear axle, the engine gives the Porsche unparalleled rotational agility through technical corners. The Lamborghini's heavier all-wheel drive system simply cannot match that precision when changing direction. Porsche actively sacrifices straight-line top-speed bragging rights to engineer a car that achieves absolute superiority in the corners. Taking these cars off the track and putting them into daily traffic exposes a different set of realities. The GT3 cockpit offers a highly usable seating position and excellent all-around visibility. You get a functional front trunk for luggage, a highly efficient 24 miles per gallon on the highway, and access to a massive nationwide service network. The Lamborghini sits 45 millimeters lower to the ground. Getting in requires physical commitment, and navigating a standard speed bump becomes a genuine hazard. The daily friction of the Huracan is severe. Rear visibility is virtually non-existent. Highway fuel economy drops to 18 miles per gallon, and the front storage space is entirely consumed by a spare tire. The trade-off is absolute. The Lamborghini delivers unmatched street presence at the cost of high daily anxiety, while the Porsche operates comfortably as a daily driver. When you sit down to order these cars, the base prices create an immediate surprise. The Porsche 911 GT3 starts at $229,950, while the Lamborghini Huracan EVO all-wheel drive starts at $214,195. The Italian V10 supercar is nearly $15,000 cheaper to buy on day one. This graph maps vehicle value over 5 years, exposing the hidden cost, depreciation. The Huracan EVO suffers catastrophic depreciation, plummeting 45 to 55%. That strips $118,000 from its value. Meanwhile, the Porsche GT3 holds steady, or even appreciates above its original sticker price. A well-maintained Porsche GT3 operates as a highly stable financial asset, protecting the buyer's initial capital. The Italian car boasts the lower sticker price. The German car commands an astronomically lower total cost of ownership. By every objective measurement, the Porsche 911 GT3 wins. It sets faster lap times, requires less financial sacrifice over a 5-year period, and offers daily practicality. However, most supercar buyers will never test a vehicle's physical limits on a racetrack. They drive on public roads surrounded by traffic. In that environment, the Lamborghini achieves a subjective victory. It ensures that a trip at legal speeds feels like an explosive, attention-grabbing event. If you are looking for raw sensory overload, a dramatic weekend spectacle, or your first entry into supercar ownership, the Huracán EVO is the correct choice. This decision tree maps the final choice. If your priority is absolute chassis communication, preserving your investment, and the physical engagement of a manual gearbox, you buy the Porsche. Now it's your turn. Drop into the comments and tell me which philosophy you choose and exactly why you chose it. Choose logic and precision, or choose emotion and drama. Both are engineering masterpieces, and both represent the absolute peak of a naturally aspirated era that is rapidly closing.